the Lambda Lambdas.
Yeah, because you don't have a story. So the only thing you have to do is prove the hypocrisy of the first fucking story. That ogre plot line literally proves my point.
Yes.
Literally proves my point. You could have just stopped at creating your own fucking fraternity. You did it, guys. You're now in Greek life. But did you have to go off and start raping people? Did you have to go off and start fucking getting people in situations where they got PTSD? Because I guarantee you, half those fucking jocks did not get out of the 80s well. Definitely some substance issues. Definitely some weird, fucked up, failed marriages. There's probably 4 or 5 orphan kids. I'm saying, man, the real sequel to Nerds has to be the real story.
I cannot deny,
little guys.
Valid points. I cannot deny. We got some steam children coming in and out of the room now, which does happen from time to time. Birdman is in fact a daddy, so that's all right. We're good with that. And when it comes to Revenge of the Nerds, I have to, and his name's on it, so I can mention his name. I worked for a man named Roland Mesa for a while in Los Angeles, and one of his few. He had a couple of directing credits that he actually used to hang on the wall of his office. And Revenge of the Nerds 3, is his main directing credit. So I got to give the man props. He directed more than I did. He was also the reason I left Los Angeles because of a violent temper and just general craziness. But hey, all right, what can you do in that? And certainly in that film, I think they do deal with that, a little bit of that. Though it is a little weird that the head nerd ends up, and by that time, Goose, of course, wasn't going back to those movies because he had, actually gotten a career. So good on him, Anthony Daniels. Had left that behind. But I think they kind of deal with that. But it's also a little creepy because he ends up marrying the girl that he rapes. So again, that being such a theme through the 80s, we could probably do a rather disturbing episode on that theme. College Humor has a little bit, so go and Google it because they do just point out that all 80s movies are just sexual assault up and down the line, on just various levels. But I think you're absolutely right. The Nerds, given what they could have done, and also, are we just going to ignore potential cultural appropriation or whatever or whatever the particular offense is? They go to Lambda, which when you see the heads of it is a black fraternity. They have one black member who's also gay. So, okay, you get a couple of things, you get a couple of boxes ticked, but, they then kind of proceed to sort of, tease Lamar, as implicit in the whole thing that he's definitely considered a little bit less than. You can kind of see even within that.
They try to throw you with the okie doke by putting Bernie Casey in there because they knew they'd back us down a little bit with that. Like, all right, you got Bernie, so
yeah. That was kind of almost what they implied. It's like, we're looking at you, and then thankfully Booger shows up with the joints in time. Which, all right,
good old Booger,
who's had quite the career himself. God bless him, man. He's a character actor who's lasted a long time, but I still always see him as Booger. No matter what.
Better Off Dead is my favorite movie of Curtis Armstrong.
Antithesis of that. And
anyone who's gonna sniff snow and be like, that's 100%. Like, anytime you sniffing snow, I'm sitting there thinking like, I never ever want to do coke, but I swear to God, I want to do that.
I can't deny it. Also, when he talks about the street value of this mountain, nothing better. And I swear to Christ, I should get a tattoo somewhere on me that says, go that way really fast. If something gets in your way, turn. Because if that is Zen Buddhism life experience, I don't know what it is.
You're gonna have that quote underneath the top hat?
I gotta say, it's some serious Zen shit. Some serious life lessons going on there without a doubt. But just have to, as we're swinging around, a little bit of a shorter one today due to life stresses and all that fun stuff. But we want to keep our fans, all 2 of them out there, really happy. Keep going. And I did really want to have fun with this callback episode. Have to throw in a quick honorable mention to Tony Montana because I don't know how he became a hero, but he did become a hero in the 80s. So for some of the kids listening,
wait, he's not a hero?
Yeah, exactly. You
Right.
know, people used to have the Tony Montana shirts and all that shit. By the way, kids, if you're not looking beyond the war on drugs, beyond all those messages, he was just bad at it. Can we just talk? You know, can we just put that out there? The guy got high off his own supply. He wanted to fuck his own sister, right? He could not keep his empire together at all. That was the entire. Yes, he did want to fuck his own sister. Even she points that out to him in the end of it. Even she
He
looks
just
at him.
didn't want Manny to fuck her. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know,
so
man.
she
She's
went
sitting
off the
there.
deep
It's
end.
To
very
be fair,
good.
he was with Manny all the time. Like
Yeah.
he knew Manny was
knew.
walking around with some shit.
But he didn't want any man. Like that was all the thing. Like he beats up guys in the club, and that's how Manny ends up talking to her in the first place. She's sitting there, pretty exposing her breasts and saying, "You want to fuck me, Tony?" Like she knew. Okay, this was a problem. This was not healthy behavior when even she's saying it. Come on, you know.
All right,
It was
well,
like,
let me throw in a controversial mention.
all right,
Honorable mention.
honorable mention time.
Hans Gruber.
Oh yeah.
No fucking way
He
that
was
plan
on my
was
list.
gonna
I'm
work.
like, I gotta take him off. I'll spend too much time.
Yeah, I mean, no way in hell that plan was going to work. I totally understand. It was very intricate, and Alan Rickman is cool as shit, no question about it. But there's no way in hell that plan was going to work.
No.
Was not going to happen. So that was, that would be my greedy bastard pick. And my megalomaniac pick, I was going to go with the Emperor from Star Wars.
Yes.
Or if nothing else, I mean, for the simple fact that he's cartoonishly evil and ridiculously evil, he could have easily have been fucking Inspector Gadget's arch nemesis. But the fact that he gave them the real location of where to blow up the Death Star, like you're setting them up and you're sending out information, just send out a fake plan. Clearly, they're just going to believe whatever weird ass, spam that they get from the universe. So just send out a fake place to blow up the Death Star. He gave them the real fucking location of how to blow up the Death Star. He did that. He did that.
Go with me on
megalomaniac.
Go with me on this though, because I think here's the real secret to Emperor Palpatine. I totally agree with you. And he was on. I kicked him around on these lists. We've all like had some of the same people, kicked him on and off, at various points. I think his problem is he's tired of being the dominant all day. Right? He's got Lord Vader sitting there. Yes, my master. All the stormtrooper, walking by people all day saluting him. I think his problem is he really wants some time off and he needs to be the submissive. And that's the whole thing, right? What does he do? He brings Luke Skywalker, after years of being all in control and all that stuff. What's the first thing he does? He brings in Luke Skywalker. Strike me down. I'm a naughty emperor. Use your lightsaber. Strike me down, Luke, right? Years later, he shows up as Greta. Strike me down. Do it. Do it now. I see Lord Vader choking people all day and he never does it to me. I mean,
I would just posit one counterpoint to that, and it literally is cleared out in the first Star Wars that we all saw, which is episode 4, right?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan proves that if you're at a certain level with the Force, good or bad, you getting struck down is only going to actually give you an upgrade. So I think that's why he keeps saying, strike me down, especially from who's doing it, because as they try to explain as the series continued, that depending on who strikes you down and the level of force that they do, you're going to actually upgrade, so to speak. Frankly, Empire should be on there. Emperor should be on there. I'm with you. I was actually going to say Darth Vader, because as much as we try to continue to build up the lore of Darth Vader, there's a flip side to that. There's a shade side to all the sun that we send his way. It's like, for example, Darth Vader, if you could, pull people left and right, and I'm totally ripping this from College Humor, respect, but if you just pull people left and right, why didn't you just pull Luke closer to you during Empire? Like, what's with this hand shit? Like, just pull him close.
I mean, there's certain things I don't think about too much when it comes to Star Wars, because I know the answer is essentially
because you hate Star Wars.
But I don't hate Star Wars.
You
I
hate
accept
Star
it. I
Wars.
accept it for what it is. You know, like 2 weeks when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I was like, all right, you guys are
Oh,
fine, and
oh shit.
I
That's an
totally get
endorsement
it.
right
And
there.
I accept them for what they are. For I don't think they're evil. I don't think they're bad. They
I
just
don't
are
hate
what
that.
they
It
are.
was
I
the Prince thing,
accepted the
wasn't
You know,
it?
15
it
hours I
was
spent on a shitter.
it was
It was the Prince thing.
Vader's big issue. The reason why I didn't go with Vader was I was constantly thinking how they fucked up Vader as a character for me. And so for him, it's like you have to go through periods of when you would want Vader, but it doesn't matter because everything keeps going to, are you an angel? And it just gets fucked up in my head completely. So, um,
Nerd.
yeah, right. But Vader has done some badass shit. I would still want him on my team. He's just gonna have to deal with his family issues.
My only point on Vader, and we all kind of have our niche here, and Star Wars definitely is mine. Probably shared by Rashawn to a certain extent. But my only point on Vader is they hid your kid, right? So they hid both your
Not
kids.
very well.
But one of them they put on the same planet you were born on, and they didn't change his last fucking name. And you're telling me you got the HoloNet, but you don't got Google? Like that's my biggest issue with Vader. Like
How about the fact that fucking Obi-Wan gets on your space station there and you're like, hey, I smell the Force. I feel the Force. But your own kid is literally next to you and you're like, oh, no Jedi's here. All right, let me stretch my elbows. Let me get out
What's your
there.
last name? What's your last
But-
name that you finally only figure out after he blows up the space
Hey,
station?
look, Skywalker ain't nothing but the Johnsons of space, all right? So you can
Yeah, right.
He's just like, that's just another fucking Johnson right there. I don't give a fuck.
Clearly.
Look, my last name is Smith. Back in the day, kids, we had telephone books, and Smith was like a quarter of it. So
And there's that.
it happens.
There is
But I think Greg makes a better point, and this is why these villains who are normally iconic get knocked the fuck down and should be, is because as we continue to grow the lore of these guys, we normally end up adding things to their powers that make everything they did questionable. The reason why I'm pointing out the whole pool thing is because they went above and beyond to make sure that we all knew Vader was a badass at the end of fucking Rogue One. They made sure. It wasn't enough for people to understand that Vader could choke your ass out from across the room. In some cases, literally in another space station. Didn't matter all these other things. No, we had to show that Vader can literally just start pulling people left and right, which we already actually knew because he could pull fucking giant structures of a space station across things just to throw at your ass. Which again brings it back to, if you really want to look, couldn't you just pull them close? Couldn't you just? And all these bad guys, frankly, to me, and the reason why the list is so hard to make is because every one of them, including Empire, it's like, just kill your opposition. You start the whole fucking story by blowing up a planet. How long does it take you to fucking warm up that gun and blow up the next planet? Like, what are you guys doing here?
Well, most of the thing I kept finding was, especially because this was, especially with like John Hughes and the slasher films, this was a decade that was definitely dedicated to making movies marketed to teenagers, like without a doubt. Like probably hard. I mean, other decades have done it before, but this one specifically, especially after Star Wars, started to realize, that nice Jaws blockbuster money was really sweet, and if we can drag in more young people, it'd be great. So especially when I was doing the Greedy Bastards and the Bullies, I was like, yeah, these guys are Wile E. Coyote. Like they just get their asses handed to them pretty much from the first point where they get in, because that's what you want to see from that smug asshole. And so for that reason, it was like, all right, how do I pick the worst of the fuck ups? Like the ones that didn't look cool, even if, like, Billy from Karate Kid, he looks cool for a minute. He does. He absolutely does. Or
I was gonna go with the Sensei.
Kiefer Sutherland and Stand By Me. What was his
Ace.
Yeah.
Ace was kind of creepy. Like, he had a little bit of a Deliverance vibe going about him.
And a psychopath. Like,
yeah.
You
But-
believe he was going to kill those kids.
Yeah.
like, no
But
doubt.
Biff,
totally was.
yeah, you never took Biff seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, Biff was
Even,
just
even when he was literally trying to run someone over.